everyone who's familiar with kind of going to a theater and getting audio description knows all of the issues. Basically, when you ask for audio description, they say, "Oh, for the deaf." No. So, yeah,
Oh my
that
God, I'm not
happens.
surprised. That's
Yeah,
hilarious, though.
it happens all the time.
Welcome to this Ability Clinic, where we hear you, we see you, and we appreciate you. I'm Dr. Stephanie Van. I'm a young Vietnamese female wearing a gray blazer, blue blouse, and my long black hair is up in a bun. I'm sitting in front of a blank white background. That's an audio description, and it helps people who are low vision or blind immerse themselves in the audio and visual experience of this content. We're continuing our conversation with Mr. Thomas Reid, who has many titles to his name.
I'm a freelance audio producer. I'm a voice talent and a audio description narrator and advocate, and the host of Read My Mind Radio, a podcast featuring compelling people impacted by all degrees of blindness and disability.
Oh, I love it. I wanted to kind of pick your brain about your experience doing audio descriptions, because that is like something particularly cool. And I feel like
Okay.
representation of accessibility and disability in the media, I feel like that is a realm that needs more press.
Okay. It's my favorite topic, so be careful.
Awesome. Ramble on.
So you want me to just talk about audio description and specifically what? Can you say it one more
I don't
time?
know,
Sorry.
how did you get into it?
Okay.
Any favorite projects, the good
Okay.
stuff, the not so
Yeah,
good
yeah.
stuff.
Sure. Pretty much since becoming blind, I've taken an interest in audio description, and it was my wife who really kind of first introduced me to audio description because she was doing the research. I think I may have first got a tape from like the library and watched something there. So I became blind in 2004. And at the time, that was really all we had access to is whatever was on those tapes.
Hmm.
So in 2007, my wife found out that they were bringing in audio description to a theater that was about, half an hour from our house. And it coincided with our anniversary. And so my wife and I were big moviegoers prior to me losing our sight. So since losing my sight in 2004, we didn't get back to the movie theater until 2007.
Hmm.
And, we both missed that because it was just fun. Like we would do those matinees on Saturdays, and go in there and allegedly stay for another film when you just pay for one,
Oh
allegedly.
yeah, that's your all day ticket.
Yeah, allegedly. I'm not.
You could do that hypothetically.
Yes, hypothetically. And so, we kind of missed that. So she found out that this theater had a film. We went and we checked it out. It was Die Hard 4. A
Oh,
nice romantic movie. Yeah.
quality piece of cinema, perfect for an anniversary.
Yeah. But we love Die Hard.
Like Die Hard,
Best movie ever.
best franchise ever. I even have the Justin Long one on Blu-ray.
My wife was big into the action movies, the shoot 'em up stuff, all of that stuff. After we had kids, though, she changed.
She got softer.
She got soft, yeah. She got soft. So, but we went to check it out. We had a fantastic time. Like, there were some issues with the stuff, and everyone who's familiar with kind of going to a theater and getting audio description knows all of the issues. Basically, they'll give you the wrong headset. When you ask for audio description, they say, "Oh, for the deaf." No. So, yeah,
Oh my
that
God, I'm not
happens.
surprised. That's hilarious,
Yeah,
though.
it happens all the time. So when you finally get the right one, and we got into the theater, it actually wasn't working. So she ran out, and they fixed it. They turned it on their side, And so we ended up enjoying the movie. And it was a time when we were watching, and this description, it was like somebody ran up the wall, and they was doing this whole thing. It was a bunch of people coming to kill somebody, whatever.
There you go. Stand still, Spider Boy!
And I leaned over to her, and I was like, "Hey, did that look as good as it sounded?" And she was like, "Yeah." And so, she was happy. She was
Oh,
really
that's
happy.
awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's right!
So that to me is what audio description is always about,
Mm.
right? It's about those relationships that cinema and television brings about. Me chilling at home or at the movies with my daughters, and being able to be fully immersed in a film and then have conversations with them afterward. That's audio description. That's what it's about. And so having that access, that's why I care about it so much. When I finally got to watch Black Panther,
the warrior became king and the first Black Panther, the protector of Wakanda.
the experience for me was totally thrown off. I was expecting what everybody else was going to get, this full immersion into, quote unquote black excellence. This was all black everything. Like, it's black, right? So like there's all of this great stuff happening, these positive, images and all of this on screen. And so I get there and the voice of the narrator is what I always say,
1992, Oakland, California.
the colonizer.
Nuh-uh.
At night, kids play basketball in an inner-city court using an adapted milk crate as a basket.
Oh, how did they do that to Black Panther?
Exactly. That's what I said. And it was just, I was just totally disrupted. My whole experience there was off. So that started some conversation, which I like to remind people, because some people think, oh, it was a new conversation. It was new to some.
Yeah, sure.
But other people have been talking about this before me, but maybe not in public. But anyway, so this idea of me actually doing narration came about in another episode, and we were talking about Luke Cage and the idea of the voice. And
Written by Chia Hodari Coker, directed by Paul McGuigan. His punch connects and debris breaks away, revealing Luke Cage in gold block letters. The word Marvel appears above.
Hey, get up, brothers! Don't sit there with your head hanging down. That's something I want to
A
say.
busy Harlem street fades into view.
I said, yeah, Luke Cage is filmed in New York. I'm New York, right? I said, I could do it. She was like, yeah, you could. Your voice would be cool on it. Finally, like in 2020 with the pandemic, there was Eric Wickstrom from IDC. He reached out because he was listening to the podcast already. So he was like, the production is good. So I know you could do that. I like your voice, right? And so he asked me some questions like, how could we make this work? And now everyone else is doing this remotely as well. The process of narrating a film doesn't have to be the same process that they use for sighted people. Because for sighted folks, the process was you're in the booth, you're at the studio, whatever, and then they have a screen up and the words are on the screen, and so is the film. And so you're kind of looking at the film, you're looking at the words, you're putting in the timing. Maybe they punch you in if you make a mistake or whatever the case, but you're kind of doing it all. You're looking at the clock, and all of that's happening. And I'm like, okay, that's nice, but it doesn't have to be that way. This is audio. It's not live. This is audio. You produce, right? You can film it. You can cut and paste it where it needs to go. And so Eric and I spoke, and he gave me the opportunity to do a project, and we tested it out, and it worked.
2 methods, 2 patients.
Whether it's surgical or not, our goal is for people to look in the mirror and feel good in their own skin.
A title appears, Skin Decision.
Shout out to Eric, because we had a conversation the other day, and he was like, it was good, but, it wasn't that great, right? My first one.
But your story can change.
I felt deformed, and now I feel human.
A woman in a purple dress strolls toward the circular mirror. Then, in the lab, decorations shaped like teardrops hang from the ceiling. Sheila and Jamie sit on the sofa.
So we have Katrina today.
Yes.
But I wasn't the first. I was the first with IDC. I was not the first blind person to do narration. I also want to make sure that is clear, because audio description, I always want to throw it out, was created by blind people, and blind people have been involved. And so, Rick Boggs and Audio Eyes, they were already on it. The real innovation that I see comes from the disability community. It's not coming from the mainstream. That's just a really dope thing that shows that disability solidarity, the overall disability community, how seriously they take and understand audio description, how it's not just about, you have to have this because the government told you to. It's not that. There's an art around it, and they're really interested in experimenting and trying new things. IDC and all the other folks were not necessarily doing it, and Eric wanted to do it. He was thinking about it for a while, and it just so happened, the pandemic kind of helped with that and made it something that was like, okay, this makes sense now. And so shout out to him. Now he has like about 10 or more blind narrators that he works with. So I'm really happy about that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You saw the need and you were like, let me just take this opportunity, show these guys how it's done. They're a little behind the times.
Yeah.
And now they've got a whole staff. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Somebody had to be willing to do it, and he was definitely willing to get that done. And again, he understands the the cultural side of things, right? The travesty of putting the colonizer on Black Panther.
I cannot believe no one was like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right.
No. And that, yeah. And why doesn't that seem right?
Right.
Yeah. Because all too often, white is the default.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's okay, you know. But they would never put my voice on, you know.
Bruce Willis.
No, maybe. But no, they wouldn't put my voice on something that, you know, some high sedity Shakespeare thing or something like that. No, it wouldn't work out that way.
I don't know. I feel like Shakespeare has gone through so many iterations. Like maybe one day.
Well, they put me on hip hop Shakespeare, right?
Oh.
If audio descriptions are new to you or you learned something new about audio descriptions, hit the like button and comment below what your favorite Die Hard movie is.
No talking about Die Hard?
Okay, I can do that.
Or Die Hard 2 or Die Hard 3?
What? Come on, so you just want me to talk about the fourth one? There's a fourth one? Charles!
You can hear more of Thomas's audio producing talents by tuning into his podcast, Read My Mind Radio, linked below in the description. In the next and final segment of our amazing conversation with Thomas, he's going to offer us some advice about educating future healthcare professionals. He'll tell us about one of his favorite content creators, and we'll talk about what work still needs to be done to make our society more accessible and inclusive. Subscribe to This Ability Clinic and hit the bell icon to get notified when our next video drops. Until next time, thank you for watching, listening, and learning.
All right.
I feel like interrupting you and messing it up, though.
Oh, no. I would mess it up if you were here or not. That's all me.
Oh, you don't know how many takes I do. But go ahead.